A desperate waitress, unaware her date was a mafia boss, found herself entangled in a web of intrigue. He accepted her impromptu invitation with a stern warning. Don't scream when you learn the truth. By the time she unraveled his secret, escape was no longer an option. The coffee pot nearly slipped from Na's grasp, but 5 years of muscle memory from slinging hash saved it from shattering a small victory amidst a sea of impending disasters. Her feet ached inside worn sneakers as her gaze flickered to the clock. 11:47 p.m. Just 13 minutes until she could bolt the doors of Marco's diner and drag her weary self to the cramped studio apartment, where an eviction notice demanding 2 months' rent lay waiting on her kitchen counter. 3 days. She had a mere 72 hours to conjure up the funds. Suddenly, the bell above the door chimed, and Na's shoulders slumped. Of course, someone always drifted in just before closing, typically drunk college students or truckers craving burnt coffee and directions. But the man who glided through the entrance in a sleek wheelchair was neither. He wore a charcoal suit that undoubtedly cost more than her unreliable car. His dark hair was impeccably swept back, and his hands rested on the armrests with the effortless confidence of someone who had never fretted over finances. Mid-30s, she estimated, with a sharp jawline and eyes that seemed to absorb every detail in the room within seconds. 2 paces behind him, a broad-shouldered man in a leather jacket entered, his gaze sweeping the diner like a Secret Service agent. He settled into a booth near the door while the man in the wheelchair approached the counter. "We're about to close," Na began, wincing at her abruptness. "Tips are tips, but I can get you something quick. Coffee, black, and whatever pie you have left," he requested, his voice smooth with an accent she couldn't quite pinpoint. Italian, perhaps. "Take your time. I'm not in a hurry." Na poured the coffee, noticing how the 3 other customers hastily found reasons to depart. They tossed cash onto their tables and scurried out, avoiding eye contact. Peculiar. She slid the coffee across the counter and sliced a piece of apple pie that had been nestled in the display case since morning. The man didn't touch either, instead watching her with an unnerving intensity that made her skin tingle. "You work here alone at night?" he inquired. A red flag immediately unfurled in Na's mind. Her hand instinctively drifted toward the baseball bat Marco kept beneath the register. "Cook's in the back," she lied. Marco had left at 9, entrusting her with closing duties, a detail this stranger needn't know. "Relax." A slight upturn at the corner of his mouth. "I'm not going to rob you. Your register probably holds less than $100, and I'd have to be pretty desperate." $83.50 actually, Na corrected, crossing her arms defensively. "And yes, you'd have to be quite desperate to rob a place with security cameras." Another lie. The cameras had been defunct for months. His gaze flickered to the broken lens in the corner, then back to her, a hint of amusement in his eyes. He knew. "What's your name?" he asked. "Nina," she replied, using a playful alias. "And you're holding up my closing duties, mister." "Enzo." He finally lifted the coffee cup, taking a sip without breaking their stare. "This is terrible coffee, Nina." "Yeah, well, maybe don't come to a diner at midnight expecting Italian espresso, Enzo." The man in the booth tensed, but Enzo merely laughed, a genuine, uninhibited sound that completely transformed his face, making him appear younger, almost boyish. "Fair point," he conceded, setting down the cup. "How long have you been doing this?" "Working here? 5 years." "No, how long have you been tired?" The question caught her off guard. Na opened her mouth for a sarcastic retort, but something in his expression halted her. He wasn't mocking. He was genuinely curious. "Forever," she admitted softly. "I've been tired forever." Enzo nodded slowly, as if this confirmed a pre-existing notion. He pulled out his wallet, extracted a crisp $100 bill, and placed it on the counter. "The coffee and pie are $8, Nina stated. "Keep it. I don't take charity." "It's not charity. It's payment for honest conversation." He paused. "This town wears people down. You can see it in their eyes, but not yours. You're angry, not broken. That's rare." Na picked up the bill, held it to the light, checking for counterfeits, then slipped it into her pocket. Rent money. She wasn't too proud to refuse. "So, what's your story?" she asked, leaning against the counter. "Rich guy slumming it in a seaside diner at midnight? Usually means you're running from something or looking for something. Maybe both." "Cryptic. I like it." the sheer exhaustion was making her bold, reckless. The kind of recklessness that had landed her in hot water before. You know what? You seem interesting, and I've had the worst week of my life. So, here's a crazy idea. Enzo raised an eyebrow. I'm listening. Want to escape this greasy spoon and go on a date with me? Like a real one, somewhere that doesn't smell like decade-old fryer oil? The words hung in the air, weighted with her immediate regret. What was she thinking? This man was undeniably out of her league, probably married, certainly not interested in a broke waitress with an attitude problem. But Enzo didn't laugh or politely decline. He studied her face for a long moment, something shifting behind his eyes. When he finally spoke, his voice was utterly serious. Saturday, 8 o'clock, I'll pick you up. Na blinked. Wait, really? Really? He produced a business card, sliding it across the counter. It was blank save for a phone number embossed in silver. Text me your address. That, I was half joking. I wasn't. Enzo rolled back from the counter. The man in the booth immediately stood, ready to depart. One condition, though, Na. What's that? When I tell you the truth about who I am, don't scream. Before she could process his words, he was gone, the door chiming behind him. Through the window, she watched as the bodyguard helped him into the back of a black Mercedes with tinted windows. The luxury vehicle vanished into the night, leaving behind only the lingering scent of expensive cologne and the blank business card on the counter. Na picked up the card, turning it over in her hands. Her heart hammered with an unfamiliar rhythm. She should discard it. Rich, mysterious strangers with bodyguards and strange warnings weren't Prince Charming. They were trouble. But as she locked up the diner and walked to her beat-up Honda, the eviction notice awaiting her at home, Na found herself saving the number in her phone, just in case. After all, what did she have to lose? Na cycled through 4 outfit changes before finally settling on a black dress she had previously worn to precisely 1 funeral and 2 job interviews. It was the only garment in her closet that didn't overtly proclaim, I serve pancakes for a living. She had nearly canceled the date twice, first on Thursday when common sense kicked in, and again on Saturday morning after a frantic Google search for signs you're about to be murdered by a rich stranger. But curiosity, that dangerous siren, ultimately prevailed. At precisely 8 o'clock, the ominous Mercedes pulled up to her apartment building, a sleek shark in a parking lot of rust buckets. The bodyguard from the diner stepped out first, opened the rear door, and waited. Na climbed in, her heart pounding a frantic rhythm against her ribs. Enzo sat in the back seat, his wheelchair folded and stowed. He wore a navy suit this time, tieless, looking as though he'd just stepped from the pages of a fashion magazine. The car's interior exuded the rich sense of leather and money. You came, he observed, a note of something akin to relief in his voice. I'm either very brave or very stupid, Na replied, buckling her seatbelt. Haven't decided which yet. Most people are both. The drive traced the coastal road for 20 minutes, bypassing the tourist traps and venturing into an area Na had only ever glimpsed from afar. They stopped at Maria Blue, a restaurant built on stilts directly over the water, where reservations typically required months of waiting and appetizers cost more than her entire weekly paycheck. Inside, the staff treated Enzo like royalty. The maitre d' practically bowed. Their table overlooked the ocean, strategically secluded from other diners by what Na suspected was deliberately removed seating. So, Na began, once they had ordered, are you going to tell me why everyone's terrified of you, or are we doing the whole mysterious stranger thing all night? Enzo sipped his wine. Direct. I like that. I don't have time for games. My rent's due. I'm eating at a restaurant where the bread probably costs $50, and you told me not to scream when you reveal who you are, so let's skip the small talk. The bread is complimentary, actually. Enzo set down his glass, studying her face in the candlelight. I have business in this town, unfinished business, the kind that makes people nervous. What kind of business? The kind where asking too many questions gets people hurt. A chill snaked down Na's spine, yet she leaned forward rather than recoiling. Then why bring me here? Why ask me out? Because you're the first person in 3 months who's looked at me and seen a man instead of a threat or a... The word was sharp, bitter. You didn't pity me or fear me. You asked me on a date like I was normal. Na's chest tightened. You are normal. The wheelchair doesn't change that, does it? Something dark flickered across his face. 2 years ago, I could walk, run. I was different then. What happened? An accident, his jaw clenched, one that someone caused. The waiter arrived with their appetizers, momentarily breaking the tension. They ate in silence for a moment, the rhythmic sound of waves beneath them filling the void. Your turn, Enzo said finally. Why a diner? You're sharp, educated. I can hear it in how you talk. So, why waste yourself serving coffee to people who don't see you? Na's fork paused halfway to her mouth. How do you know I'm educated? Lucky guess. Liar. He smiled slightly. I pay attention. You quoted Hemingway when you mentioned the town wearing people down. The world breaks everyone, and afterwards some are strong at the broken places. You probably don't even realize you did it. Na felt exposed, as if he had peeled back her skin. I dropped out of college, couldn't afford it. Then I dated someone who said he'd help me go back. She laughed bitterly. His business ventures, it turned out, were far less legitimate than he let on. What was his name? Why does it even matter? Enzo's voice, now laced with an unsettling intensity, dropped to a near whisper. It matters, Nina. This town is tiny, and I am exceptionally thorough. Rico, the name was a bitter taste on her tongue. Rico Salazar. He's involved with a local street gang, thinks he's untouchable. A sigh escaped her. When I finally mustered the courage to leave, he made sure everyone knew I was his ex, marked his territory, you know? Made it impossible to date, impossible to move forward. Enzo's expression remained impassive, but his knuckles went white as his grip tightened on his wine glass. Rico Salazar. You know him? Of him. He carefully, almost too carefully, placed the glass down. Small world. A shiver ran down Nina's spine at his tone. Enzo, what? He reached inside his jacket, producing a sleek silver lighter. Expensive, its engraved initials indecipherable in the dim light. He placed it between them. For luck, he stated. Keep it close. I don't smoke, she replied, perplexed. It's not about smoking. It's about carrying something that signifies my protection. Protection from what? Enzo finally met her gaze, and for the first time, Nina saw something ancient and chilling beneath his polished facade. Something that had survived whatever devastating accident had robbed him of his ability to walk. From the kind of people who disapprove when I take an interest in someone. Nina picked up the lighter, its unexpected weight a tangible presence in her hand. This was her cue to flee, to utter a polite thank you for dinner, and vanish from his life forever. Instead, she slipped it into her purse. Well, this date just took a fascinating turn, she ventured. Enzo's smile was as sharp and dangerous as fractured glass. You have no earthly idea. Nina should have known better than to display that lighter at work, but Tuesday night dragged, and she found herself idly turning the elegant silver object in her hands, admiring its intricate engraving when Rico swaggered through the diner door. 8 months she'd been free of him. 8 glorious months. He hadn't changed. The leather jacket, the overpowering cologne, that arrogant swagger that claimed ownership of every room he entered. 2 of his cronies flanked him, their faces promising trouble. Nina's hand instinctively tightened around the lighter as Rico effortlessly slid onto a counter stool, a predatory grin plastered across his face. Nina, baby, you been dodging my calls? I blocked your number, Rico. That's not dodging. That's called moving on. Harsh, he chuckled, signaling to his friends who strategically positioned themselves by the door and the back exit, effectively trapping her. But I'm willing to overlook it. We had something special, remember? We had nothing. You had a punching bag too terrified to leave. The smile vanished. Watch your mouth. Marco, emerging from the kitchen, took one look at the escalating situation and immediately retreated. Coward. Nina was utterly alone. Rico's gaze dropped to her hands, noting the lighter she still clutched. His expression darkened ominously. Where did you get that? None of your business. He lunged, seizing her wrist, his grip an iron vice, the same grip that once left angry bruises. I asked you a question. Let go. That's valuable, very valuable. Who gave it to you? He twisted her wrist until searing pain shot up her arm. Are you spreading your legs for some rich tourist, is that it? Nina drove her knee upward, aiming for his groin. Rico narrowly evaded the full force, but but it loosened his grip enough for her to yank free. She stumbled backward, the counter now a fragile barrier between them. "You need to leave, now." Rico's laughter was devoid of humor. "You really don't get it, do you? This town, these streets. I know everything that happens here, every single thing. And lately, there's been someone snooping around, asking questions. Someone who doesn't belong." He leaned over the counter, his voice dropping. "Someone who drives a black Mercedes." Nina's blood turned to ice. "Yeah." Rico's smile returned, uglier now. "I've got eyes everywhere. So here's how it's going to go. You're going to stop seeing whoever gave you that fancy lighter. You're going to remember who you belong to, and you're going to forget this conversation ever happened. I don't belong to anyone." "Wrong answer." Rico nodded subtly to his men. One produced a crowbar from inside his jacket. "Maybe we need to redecorate this place. Show Marco what happens when he hires waitresses who don't know their place." The man swung the crowbar, shattering the pie case. Glass exploded, raining down like glittering crystals. "Stop!" Nina shrieked. "Please, just stop! I'll do whatever you want." "That's better." Rico straightened his jacket. "Stay away from the guy in the fancy car." People who don't understand this town end up hurt. Or worse. He moved toward the door, then paused. "Oh, and Nina, that lighter, throw it away. It's marked. Anyone carrying it becomes a target." They departed, the diner's bell chiming cheerfully behind them as if nothing had happened. Nina stood amidst the wreckage, her hands trembling, the lighter burning like a hot coal against her palm. She should discard it. She should call Enzo and tell him she couldn't see him again. Instead, she pulled out her phone and texted the number on his card. "We need to talk tonight." 3 blocks away, in the driver's seat of an unmarked sedan, Enzo meticulously reviewed surveillance footage on his tablet. He'd had cameras discreetly installed outside the diner 2 days prior, strategically positioned to capture every angle. He witnessed Rico's threats, Nina's valiant resistance, her protection of an item Enzo had given her, even when surrender would have been the logical recourse. "Boss," Marcus, his bodyguard, stated from the passenger seat. "Rico's growing bolder. He knows someone is watching." "Good." Enzo's voice was flat, devoid of emotion. "Let him be bold. Bold men make mistakes. The girl, Nina, she's in danger now." "She was always in danger." Enzo zoomed in on Rico's face, imprinting every detail onto his memory. "Rico Salazar, a low-level enforcer for the Vulov crew. He was there that night, Marcus, 2 years ago, at the warehouse. I've confirmed it." "You're sure?" "I'm sure." Enzo's jaw tightened. "He was driving the second car, the one that blocked our exit before the bomb detonated." His fingers traced the armrest of his wheelchair. "He helped murder my brother, helped trap me in this chair, and now he's threatened your girl." "She's not my girl. She's—" Enzo's words trailed off, the lie dying unspoken. "She's evidence, a connection, that's all." Marcus remained silent, but his expression clearly conveyed his disbelief. Enzo's phone buzzed. Nina's text appeared. He stared at it for a long moment before typing his reply. "My address is attached. Come now. I'll explain everything." "Sir?" Marcus started the car. "What are you going to tell her?" "The truth." Enzo closed the tablet, Rico's face vanishing from the screen. Or at least, the version she can survive knowing. Enzo's mansion, a sprawling expanse of glass and sharp modern angles perched precariously on a cliff overlooking the ocean, screamed both immense wealth and profound isolation. Marcus silently ushered Nina through the gates, his face impassive. She found Enzo in a study, its walls lined with dark wood and leather-bound books. He sat behind a massive desk, papers spread before him, a glass of untouched whiskey at his elbow. "You arrive quickly," he observed. "Rico trashed the diner, threatened me, said anyone carrying your lighter becomes a target." Nina flung the lighter onto his desk. "So, yes, I came quickly. What the hell is going on?" "Sit down." "I'll stand." Enzo's jaw tightened, but he gave a curt nod. "Fair enough? You want the truth? Here it is. I'm not a businessman. I'm not a tourist. 2 years ago, I was part of a family that controlled shipping operations from here to New York. My brother ran things. I was his right hand." Nina's stomach lurched. "Your Mafia? Was past tense? He gestured to his wheelchair. Hard to run an empire when you can't walk. But yes, that's the world I came from. And you didn't think to mention this before asking me to dinner? Would you have come if I had? She wanted to say yes, but they both knew it was a lie. Nina moved to the window, needing a sense of distance. What happened 2 years ago? A rival crew, the Vulov organization, coveted our territory. They invited my brother to a meeting at an old warehouse, claiming they wanted to negotiate. It was a trap. His voice became flat, devoid of emotion. They rigged the building. My brother died instantly when the bomb detonated. I was outside, heading back to the car. The blast threw me 20 feet, shattering my spine. Nina turned to face him, a wave of empathy washing over her. I'm so sorry. That's horrific. But what does this have to do with me? Rico Salazar was there that night. The words hung in the air like a death sentence. No. Nina shook her head, disbelief warring with dread. No, Rico's just a small-time dealer. He runs protection rackets, sells pills. He's not a killer. He is. Enzo opened a drawer and pulled out a folder, sliding it across the desk. I've spent months tracking everyone involved. Rico drove one of the blocking cars. He helped trap us in that kill zone. Nina's hands trembled as she opened the folder. Photos spilled out. Surveillance shots of Rico meeting with men in expensive suits. Time-stamped data. Transcripts of intercepted calls, and near the bottom, a grainy image of a warehouse, smoke billowing, several figures visible in the distance. One was circled in red, the build, the jacket. It was Rico. Oh God, Nina stumbled backward. I dated him. I lived with him for 6 months. I know. Something in his tone made her look up sharply. You know? You knew when you met me at the diner? Yes. The pieces clicked into place with sickening clarity. That's why you accepted my dinner invitation? Not because you were interested, but because I was connected to Rico. I was useful at first. Nina's voice cracked. So what? You were just using me? Getting close to get to him? Jesus, Enzo, I'm not a pawn in your revenge game. You're right. He rolled out from behind the desk, moving toward her. You started as a means to an end, a way to gather intelligence, to understand Rico's patterns. But Nina, don't. She backed toward the door. Don't try to make this romantic. You manipulated me. I did, and I'm not apologizing for it. My brother is dead. I'm in this chair forever. Rico and his crew destroyed my life, and I will have justice for that. His eyes blazed with a cold, unyielding fury. Somewhere along the way, you became more than just a fleeting acquaintance. You evolved into... A sharp, shattering sound of glass abruptly silenced him. Every head in the room swiveled toward the hallway. Shouts erupted. Suddenly, Marcus appeared in the doorway, his pistol drawn, a fresh cut above his eye bleeding freely. They're here, he gasped. Rico's crew, at least 6 of them. Enzo's face blanched. How? We weren't followed. The lighter, Na whispered, a dawning horror in her eyes. Rico said it was marked. You marked it, didn't you, Enzo, to track me? Enzo's stark silence offered all the confirmation she needed. So, they knew exactly where to find us. Marcus seized Na's arm. GPS tracker, probably. They followed her directly here. More crashing noises reverberated through the mansion. The unmistakable sounds of men ransacking rooms, their approach drawing nearer. Na's gaze darted between Enzo, Marcus, and the hefty folder overflowing with evidence of a murder she'd unwittingly been entangled with for years. Every instinct screamed at her to flee, to abandon this escalating chaos. But Rico had victimized her once before, and she had vowed never to suffer that fate again. Where's your back exit? She demanded. Enzo stared at her, dumbfounded. You're staying? I'm done running, Na declared, her voice laced with steel. And you, Enzo, are going to lay out every single detail of your plan. Because if we're doing this, if we're bringing Rico down, we're doing it together. For the first time since their encounter, Enzo genuinely smiled. Second door on the left. Marcus, get the car ready. He snatched the folder, tucking it securely into his jacket. Nah, there's a gun in the top drawer. She opened it, her eyes wide as she regarded the weapon as if it were a coiled serpent. Can you shoot? Enzo inquired. No. Then tonight, he stated firmly, you'll learn. They escaped through the kitchen exit, Marcus pushing Enzo's wheelchair at a frantic pace while Na stumbled along behind, the gun in her jacket pocket feeling impossibly heavy. Behind them, Rico's men shouted, ransacked, and destroyed. Marcus had a safe house 20 minutes away, a converted boathouse on the industrial outskirts of town where discretion was paramount. They huddled inside as rain relentlessly hammered the corrugated metal roof, catching their breath. Na began to pace as Marcus tended to his bleeding head wound. Enzo sat by a grimy window, peering out at the street through a gap in the boards. "They'll track us eventually," Marcus noted. "We need to get you somewhere further, perhaps out of state." "No!" Enzo's voice was as hard as granite. "I've waited 2 years. I'm not running. You nearly died tonight. I nearly died 2 years ago. Tonight was just another Tuesday." He turned to Na. "You should go. Marcus can arrange a safe place for you, a new identity if necessary. This isn't your fight." Na stopped pacing. "You're serious? After everything, after using me, after I chose to stay, you're trying to push me away." "I'm trying to keep you alive by making my choices for me." She laughed bitterly. "That's precisely what Rico did. Deciding what was best for me, dictating who I could see, where I could go. I didn't escape one controlling man just to bend to another." Enzo's jaw tightened. "This is different." "How?" she pressed. "Because your motives are noble? Because it's revenge instead of obsession?" Na crouched in front of his wheelchair, forcing him to meet her gaze. "I understand, Enzo. You lost your brother. You lost your legs. You crave vengeance. But using me to achieve it, that makes you no better than them. I am nothing like them. Then prove it. Stop treating me like a pawn or a victim. Treat me like a partner." She pulled out the gun, checking it with a practiced motion she'd only ever seen in films. "You want Rico?" "So do I. He terrorized me for 2 years, and I did nothing. I was too scared. Not anymore." Marcus looked between them, then a slow smile spread across his face. "She's got fire, boss. Reminds me of your brother." Something in Enzo's expression shifted. Pain, memory, perhaps even respect. "If you stay," he stated, "you follow my lead. No heroics, no stupid risks." "The same applies to you. I'm the one with experience," Na countered. "And I'm the one Rico still believes he owns." An idea began to form in Na's mind. "That's the strategy, isn't it? You've been diligently gathering evidence, meticulously building your case, but what you truly lack is irrefutable proof-concrete evidence of Rico's current operations." Enzo tilted his head. "What are you suggesting?" "I go back to him. I'll pretend I'm terrified, that you were just some wealthy rogue, and I want nothing more to do with you. Rico's ego is colossal. He'll believe I came crawling back." "Absolutely not." Enzo's voice was sharp, cutting. "You have no comprehension of what you're proposing. Rico is incredibly dangerous. If he suspects for even a second, he won't, because I know him. I know precisely how to manipulate him," Na interjected, her hands now steady, her voice clear. "You mentioned he was at the warehouse that night, but he's a small-timer, which means he takes orders. Someone higher up orchestrated that bombing. We need those names." Marcus leaned forward. "She has a point. We've hit a wall with surveillance. Rico is extremely cautious around his superiors, but if someone he trusts gets close..." "Someone he trusts?" Enzo gestured toward the boarded windows. "He just attacked us." "He attacked you. He still perceives me as nothing more than a victim, remember? Just a naive waitress who got entangled with the wrong man." Nay pulled out her phone. "I'll text him immediately. I'll tell him I'm scared, that I escaped, that I need his protection. His ego won't permit him to refuse. And when he inquires about you, I'll claim you were merely using me to extract information about him, that I overheard you planning something. That makes me valuable, both a source and a prize." She began typing. "He'll undoubtedly want to debrief me, probably at his place or one of his usual hangouts. I'll wear a wire. I'll get him talking. You'll get yourself killed. Perhaps, but I'd rather die fighting than live running." Na hit send before she could second-guess herself. "Besides," she added, an almost imperceptible tremor in her voice, "you'll be watching, right? You had cameras at the diner. You have surveillance everywhere. You'll have my back." The phone buzzed almost instantly. Na read the response, her stomach clenching. "He wants to meet tomorrow night. Says he'll protect me from the one who tried to use me." She looked up. His words, not mine. Enzo stared at her for a long moment, then slowly nodded. We do this my way, full surveillance, panic button, extraction team on standby, and if anything feels wrong, you abort. Understand? Understood. I mean it, nah. This isn't a game. These men kill people. I know, she met his gaze. One of them killed your brother. Another broke my ribs twice and told me it was love. So, yes, I know exactly what kind of men they are. The rain hammered even harder against the roof. Somewhere in the distance, sirens wailed. We're going to burn them down, Na said quietly. All of them. But we're doing it smart, legally. We're going to ensure they never hurt anyone again. Enzo reached out, taking her hand. His grip was strong, resolute. Then let's go to war. The wire itched against Na's skin, a minuscule microphone taped between her ribs. She sat in Rico's apartment, the very same place she'd fled 8 months prior, inhaling the familiar, stale cigarette smell that once clung to her clothes. Rico, playing the part of the concerned ex-boyfriend flawlessly, handed her a beer. I knew that guy was trouble. Rich men like him, they treat people like playthings. He was asking about you, Na said, her voice trembling just enough to be convincing. About your business, your associates. She paused, simulating a moment of confusion. I didn't grasp it initially, but then I overheard him on the phone. He mentioned your name, said you were connected to something that transpired years ago. Rico's expression subtly shifted, his eyes narrowing. What precisely did you hear? Something about a warehouse, an explosion? Na wrapped her arms around herself, feigning distress. Rico, what did he mean? What happened? Nothing you need to concern yourself with, he replied, though his jaw was visibly tight. He pulled out his phone, rapidly typing something. This Enzo fellow, did he say anything else? He had files, photographs. I saw them before his men realized I was there. She leaned forward, injecting urgency into her tone. Rico, I'm scared. He's dangerous. He has people watching, cameras everywhere. I think he's planning something. Let him plan. Rico's phone buzzed. He read the message, a cold smile spreading across his face. I have friends too. Better friends. And they're extremely interested in this Enzo. Who are they? The people I work for. The ones who truly run this town. He stood abruptly, energized. Stay here. I need to make a call, then we're going for a ride. Where? To meet my boss. If this Enzo guy is as connected as you claim, they need to know. He grabbed his jacket. You did well coming to me, nah, really well. I'll make certain you're protected. He stepped into the bedroom, the door closing behind him. Na's heart pounded. This was it, the opening Enzo needed. She casually rose, moving toward the kitchen, where Rico's laptop lay open on the counter. Her fingers flew across the keyboard, accessing his recent files. Loaded photos, shipment schedules, cargo manifests, dates, times, and names. So many names. She silently snapped photos with her phone. Then she spotted it. A document titled Warehouse, a Archive, Guantes 23. She opened it. Meeting minutes. The warehouse bombing had been authorized by someone named Dmitry Volov. Rico's name was listed as Ground Support Vehicle 2, but others were there too. A sprawling network. Na photographed everything, her pulse racing. From the bedroom, Rico's voice rose and fell, speaking rapid Russian. She closed the laptop just as the door opened. They want to meet you, Rico announced. My boss wants to hear what you know about Enzo firsthand. Na's blood ran cold. I don't think... It's not optional. His friendly facade crumbled. You got yourself involved in this, baby. Now you see it through. He grabbed her arm, not quite violent, but close enough to hint at it. Besides, you want protection, right? This is how you get it. In a van 2 blocks away, Enzo listened to the audio feed, his knuckles white against the armrests of his wheelchair. Marcus monitored 3 different camera angles. She's got the files, Marcus reported. Photos uploaded to the cloud, names, dates, everything. Tell the extraction team to move in, Enzo ordered. Boss, she's still gathering intel. If we pull her now, I don't care. She's meeting Dmitry Volov. That wasn't the plan. It's even better than the plan. Volov never surfaces. If she can get him on record, she could die, Marcus. Enzo's voice cracked with raw emotion. Volov killed my brother. He won't hesitate with her. Marcus averted his gaze from the monitors. She understood the inherent dangers. This path was her deliberate choice. I manipulated her into choosing it, he mused. No, you presented her with an exit and she declined. That was solely her decision. He pulled up another camera feed. Observe her. Fear is absent. Focus is paramount. She's on the hunt. On screen, Nena sat within Rico's car, the hidden recorder capturing every utterance. She skillfully elicited information from Rico, prompting him to boast about shipments and illicit payoffs. She was extraordinary. Get me to the docks, Enzo finally commanded. That's where they'll take her? Volov invariably uses the waterfront for his clandestine meetings. Sir, your condition, came the immediate protest. I didn't endure a bombing only to cower in a van while another wages my battle. Enzo's eyes locked with Marcus's. Besides, I made a pledge. I promised to have her back. I fully intend to honor it. Rico's car entered the deserted shipping yard 40 minutes later. Nena counted 5 armed men by a black SUV. One stepped forward, an older silver-haired figure in an expensive suit that seemed incongruous amidst the industrial decay. Dmitry Volov, he announced in accented English. So, you are the young woman who captivated Enzo Castellano's attention. Tell me, what does a crippled crime lord seek with a mere waitress? Nena forced herself to breathe, to formulate a plan. The wire was still active. Enzo was listening. Her task was simply to keep Volov engaged long enough for reinforcements to arrive. He seeks retribution, Nena stated, and he believes I'm foolish enough to assist him in achieving it. Volov's smile was predatory. Then let us discuss precisely how foolish you truly are. He circled Nena like a shark, his footsteps echoing between the shipping containers. Rico stood nearby, arms crossed, a look of self-satisfaction on his face. I imagined the bombing would sharpen his intellect, make him comprehend that his era was over. Yet here he is, dispatching little girls to spy on me. I am not spying, Nena replied, her voice unwavering. I'm fighting for survival. Enzo discovered I had dated Rico. He assumed I possessed information. When I didn't, he threatened me. And yet you are currently wearing a wire. Nena's heart seized. Volov produced a small device from his pocket, a red light steadily blinking. Radio frequency detector, extremely useful. He gestured to one of his men. Search her. Rough hands tore open Nena's jacket, revealing the microphone taped to her ribs. The man ripped it free, eliciting a sharp gasp of pain, then tossed it to the ground. Volov crushed it under his heel. So, he said softly. Enzo is listening. Excellent. Let him hear this. He drew a gun from his shoulder holster, pressing it against Nena's temple. You have 30 seconds to reveal yourself, Castellano, or I will paint these docks with her brains. He won't come, Nena said, her voice astonishingly calm. He used me, that's all. I am nothing to him. Then you will die for nothing. 20 seconds. Inside the van, Enzo was already in motion. Marcus attempted to restrain him, but Enzo pushed past, rolling towards the dock entrance with urgent speed. Behind him, Marcus barked orders into a radio, mobilizing the backup team. 15 seconds, Volov counted. Nena closed her eyes. She pictured the diner, the years squandered serving coffee to those who never truly saw her, Rico's violent fists, her mother's pronouncement that she would never amount to anything. At least she would die fighting, rather than simply fading away. 10 seconds! A car engine roared. Headlights blazed across the dock as a black SUV crashed through the chain-link fence. It skidded sideways, and Marcus emerged, firing, forcing Volov's men to disperse. Enzo's wheelchair appeared in the gap, and he rolled forward with reckless determination. "Let her go, Dmitry!" he bellowed. Volov laughed, the gun still pressed to Nena's head. The cavalry arrives? How touching. Tell me, Enzo, was she worth it? Worth exposing yourself? This isn't about her. It's about you. You murdered my brother. You attempted to murder me. Business, nothing personal. Your family was weak. We claimed what weakness surrendered. Volov's smile was cruel. Besides, we did you a favor. Now you cannot flee when your enemies come knocking. Gunfire erupted. One of Marcus's team had flanked from the waterside. Volov's men returned fire, and chaos consumed the docks. Volov seized Nena, using her as a shield while retreating toward his SUV. Rico drew his own weapon, firing wildly in Enzo's direction. Nena remembered the gun Enzo had given her, still tucked in her jacket pocket. While Volov focused on the raging firefight, she twisted, drove her elbow into his abdomen, and dropped to the ground. The gun rose in her trembling hands. She had never discharged a weapon before, knew nothing of recoil or aim or breathing. She simply pulled the trigger. The shot went wide, but it was sufficient. Volov stumbled back, his own shot missing its mark. Enzo fired from his wheelchair, a clean shot striking Volov in the shoulder, spinning him around. Rico witnessed his boss fall and fled, abandoning everyone. Marcus's team swarmed in, professional and precise. Within seconds, Volov's men were neutralized or surrendering. Sirens wailed in the distance. Real sirens. Enzo rolled to Nena, who sat on the cold concrete, still clutching the gun gently. He carefully retrieved it from her grasp. "You're all right," he said. "You're alive? You came?" Her voice was barely a whisper. "He was going to kill me, and you came." "Of course I came." He cupped her face, compelling her to meet his gaze. "Do you truly think I would permit him to take another person from me?" Marcus appeared, breathing heavily. "Police are 2 minutes out. Boss, we need to move." "No." Enzo pulled out his phone, making a call. "Detective Morrison, it's Castellano. I have Dmitry Volov gift-wrapped at the old shipping yard. All the evidence you require is uploaded to the secure server we discussed. Time to honor our arrangement." He hung up, looking at Nena. "I spent 6 months building a case, bribing the right cop, gathering evidence. Volov goes down legally. His entire network collapses." "Enrico?" Nena inquired. "He ran like a coward, but he's on camera threatening you, on file as an accessory to murder. He's finished." Police cars flooded the docks. Officers swarmed the area. A tall detective approached, surveyed the scene, then nodded at Enzo. "Mr. Castellano, Ms. Torres, you'll both need to provide statements." "We'll cooperate fully," Enzo stated. "We are the victims here, after all." The detective's smile was thin. "Of course you are." As they loaded Volov into a police car, he met Enzo's gaze one final time. There was no fear, only cold calculation, but it no longer mattered. The empire was crumbling. Nena leaned against Enzo's wheelchair, exhausted. "Is it over?" "Almost," he replied. "One more step." 3 weeks later, the trial dominated the news. Nena watched from a downtown coffee shop, savoring an espresso that, for once, actually tasted good. On screen, Dmitry Volov sat in an orange jumpsuit while prosecutors outlined the charges: racketeering, murder, conspiracy, weapons trafficking. The evidence was overwhelming: Nena's recordings, the files she had photographed, and the testimony from a dozen witnesses Enzo had quietly cultivated for months. Volov would die in prison. His empire lay in ashes. Rico had been apprehended attempting to flee to Mexico, facing a minimum of 20 years. The news displayed his mugshot. The swagger was gone, replaced by the stark fear of a small man realizing he had always been disposable. Nena's phone buzzed, a text from Enzo. "Come to the house. There's something I want to show you." She had been residing in a hotel since the docks incident, processing everything. The police had cleared her of any wrongdoing, self-defense, cooperation with law enforcement, victim of circumstance. Yet the world felt different now, as if she had crossed a threshold from which there was no return. The mansion appeared unchanged, but Marcus greeted her with a genuine smile this time. "He's on the terrace." She found Enzo overlooking the ocean, the afternoon sun painting everything in gold. He had changed, not physically, but something in his posture seemed lighter, as if a great burden had been lifted. "You came," he said. "You say that as if you expect me to stop showing up." "After everything I put you through, I wouldn't blame you." He gestured to the chair beside him. "Sit, please." Nena sat, studying his profile. "You look different." "I feel different. For 2 years I've carried this rage, this need for revenge. It consumed everything." He turned to face her. "And then you stumbled into my life, making jokes and asking questions and refusing to be afraid. I was terrified, but you fought anyway. That's the difference between you and everyone else in this town. He reached for a folder on the table beside him. I've been making arrangements, the legitimate parts of my family's business, shipping, logistics, imports. They're clean now. I'm restructuring everything, going legal. That's good. That's really good, Enzo. I want you to help me. Nina blinked. What? Not as an employee, as a partner. He opened the folder, revealing legal documents. I'm establishing a foundation. It'll fund legal aid for people trapped in situations like yours. Domestic violence victims, people being exploited by gangs. Real help, not charity, resources, lawyers, protection. Her throat tightened. Why? Because you were right. Burning everything down felt good, but it doesn't fix the system. People like Rico exist because people like you have nowhere to turn. He pulled out another document. And I want you to run it. Enzo, I dropped out of college. I have no experience. You have something better. You understand what it means to be powerless, and you know how to fight back. That's worth more than any degree. He met her eyes. I'm not asking you to forgive me for using you. I'm asking you to use me back. Use my money, my connections, my guilt, whatever works. Build something that matters. Nina stared at the papers, her vision blurring. I don't know what to say. Say yes, or say you need time, or tell me to go to hell. Whatever you need. She laughed, wiping her eyes. You're really trying to be a good guy now. I'm trying to be better than I was. That's all anyone can do. He wheeled closer. Nina, I didn't lie at the restaurant. You were the first in years to truly see me as human. I refuse to lose that connection. I refuse to lose you. This isn't romance, she clarified, choosing her words deliberately. We barely know each other beyond the chaos of gunfights and betrayals. I understand, he conceded, taking her hand. That's precisely why I'm not pursuing romance. I'm asking for an opportunity. His voice dropped to a near whisper. No more manipulation. No more hidden agendas. Just two survivors of hell attempting to construct something meaningful from the ruins. Nina's gaze fell to their clasped hands, then drifted to the limitless expanse of the ocean before them. Memories flooded her. The diner, Rico's brutal fists, all the years etched with fear, insignificance, and smallness. Then, a stark contrast. Herself standing in that dockyard, a weapon clutched in her hand, resolutely refusing to remain a victim. All right, she finally agreed. But we operate on my terms. Everything must be clean, legal, and transparent. No shortcuts, no compromises. Agreed? Agreed, he affirmed without hesitation. And I expect a proper salary, she continued. None of this charity nonsense. I will earn every single cent. Absolutely. And we proceed slowly. I mean it, Enzo. If this evolves beyond a business arrangement, it must happen organically. No pressure, no predetermined expectations. A genuine warm smile spread across his face. Nina Torres, he chuckled. You certainly drive a hard bargain. You have no idea, she retorted, a hint of defiance in her eyes. She rose, gently pulling him towards the railing. Together, they gazed at the water as the sun began its descent. Shadows still clung to the town below. Crime wouldn't vanish simply because one boss had fallen. Yet, somewhere in those shadowed streets, someone was undoubtedly trapped, just as Nina had been, consumed by fear, just as she had been. And now, perhaps, they had a fighting chance. What shall we call it? Nina inquired. The Foundation, Enzo mused for a moment, then added, Second chances. Perfect, she declared, squeezing his hand. Because that's precisely what we've both received, isn't it? Yeah, he murmured softly. It truly is. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with fiery oranges and molten gold. Two broken individuals stood side by side, not yet mended, but undeniably healing, not entirely saved, but fiercely fighting. The ocean whispered beneath them, an eternal, patient confidant. And for the first time in countless years, Nina felt a sensation she had almost forgotten, hope.